Hello, and go. We've messed it. Shane's messed it. Go, Kieran, go.
Wait, are we live? Who even knows?
We're live.
Oh,
yeah, we can clip that out. Go, mate, you go. Take the lead, my friend.
Well, that's it. I think you were asking me as I was going live, are you going to do the lead? So I put my thumbs up, but I pressed the countdown. So look, we've started the way we're going to...
Go, do your lead. Get the intro in.
The intro, okay. Well, look, we're starting how we're going to continue. We have agreed to do this because, hey, it's game week 4. We don't want to miss an episode this year, so we're going to be committed. But both of us are coming into this with minimal chat. I think we've had about 6 minutes of catch up in the last 2 and a bit weeks. So neither of us know what each other are doing. Shane put out an outrageous statement in the tweet here that is blasphemous and I do not support whatsoever. So there will be moments of disagreement in today's episode.
And I think Kieran's gone. He's gone. Do you know what I mean? He's just gone like that. So I'll take the lead anyway. He's back in the studio. I'm taking the lead. He's back in. He just thought he'd have a little break. Kieran, talk to me.
It was too much. I couldn't take it. I found just now there's buttons on the side of my mouse and my finger slipped on one of them and it clicked backwards on the web page to take
technology. The computers have taken over. But now, like you saying, Kieran, it's I've been away. Traveling, exploring. So I didn't even really turn my phone on. So I kind of missed the last few games of last game week, and I've not. We spoke there. I've not even looked at FPL or anything like that. And I come back, and like I said to you, people are in about 5 at the back, and I'm like, am I in a different time zone? People playing 5 at the back. I was like, that is heresy. That will not happen in my house. Do you know what I mean? There will not be 5 at the back. That is a fact. But no, like you're saying, tell the audience what we got planned today, Kieran.
What we got planned? So look, we'll kick off by running through the teams from like last year or whatever and the hell that was. Interesting scores from both of us. It looks like we both played a free hit, and I'm in particular looking forward to asking Shane about one of his picks. That the last time we recorded, he's actually placed a wager with me of this player wouldn't do well, and then I see him in his free hit team. So always nice to see Shane have a stubborn, very strong-willed opinion on the shows and within a week pull a hamstring backtracking and bring them into his team. Then from there, we're going to have a quick look. Well, not a quick look. The majority of the show will just be chatting through the upcoming games, what we like about it, who we'd pick if, I guess, some people are on a free hit, right? So we can kind of talk through players that might be worth a little shout on some of the games, just overall. We'll do our predictions as we rattle through that as well. And then we'll move on to our teams for this week. I don't think either of us have made any moves yet, but we'll have a discussion about what those moves may be.
Spoiler, Shane's definitely wildcarding. 100%. No going back, wildcarding.
Have you clicked the button already?
Well, no, but I've literally hardly looked at my phone, but I will be playing it 100% because just my team.
But that's my issue, right? Like for some reason.
I have. I have looked. Sorry, Kieran. I know what you mean. Yeah, I have had a look and I've just confirmed it that I do need to play. So I have had.
Yeah, but so like my thing that I can't do, right, and this is just stubbornness, but I find it hard in the second week of the international break to do the wild card, right? Because I just feel like I lost out on all that money from price rises in the first week. That I just then become stubborn and go like, no, I'm not doing it. And I think your way of doing it is right, to be honest with you. But
usually, remember, I was away. I didn't really have my phone. If not, I would have played it early and picked up a bit of value. But with kind of the way it is, structured this season, I'm not too bothered about a value drop. And there's always a player. There's always a player you can fit in there, isn't there?
Yeah. There always is. There always is. So look, without one of the goals on our episode today. Oh, do you know what happened when I left the studio, Shane?
Go on.
All my images have gone. All the images have gone.
That's not ideal. So while you do that, I'll just speak to a few people in the chat. Com, Gary, Jackie, everybody. Thank you very much for coming along. And we're just going to kind of have a chilled, relaxed vibe for game week 4. Not as in depth as we usually do. More of a chilled vibe. But I think that's good. I think that approach is going to be good because, like you're saying, Kieran, there's a lot of people overthinking things. And for me this season, that's something that I've said that I was definitely going to do is take it literally, kind of 2 or 3 game weeks at a time. And I think now people are talking about, we'll come on to it anyway, but like CBIT people that over the season you could get 20 more points or 30 more points. That's 1 point per game week. Brilliant. Good in some areas and not in others, which again we'll come on to. And we were discussing before as well, Kieran, won't we? That as ever, it's the right players. You know, it's the right players. So I think first we're going to come on to the teams, correct?
We are. I still need about, what would I say? About 30 seconds. We could count it, and I think it'll be less than 30
I'll fill
seconds
it in.
if we do that.
I'll fill it in. Anyway, well, I'll do a kind of a slight intro into my heresy of saying, I put D-bit. See, that's the thing. Not D-bit and not even C-bit. Do you know what I mean? Right, we're in the team. Who's that? Is that my...
It's been that long,
Yeah,
you can't even recognise your
I know,
own
I can't
jump
even
with,
recognise. But what
So, Shane, look.
Yes.
No, I'm getting straight into it, right? Your highest scoring player. Who was it?
Jack Grealish. And by the way, you were probably surprised to see him in there. One, because I've been slating Everton. Two, Shane's got some skills, you know. And I thought, that's the game.
Absolutely no. That's not why I'm surprised.
I'm
surprised. We had 5 minutes, Shane. We had a 5-minute debate on our last show that we filmed together about Jack Grealish, and your statement was, "Why, man, he is not a pick. I'm donkey, get away." I need to improve that, right? But
that was. Anyway, I thought I was on cue. I thought it was good. Do you know what? In fact, actually,
I'm really good at Sean Connery being Russian, but no. The point was that we've made a wager, and you named 3 midfielders that will score more than Jack Grealish over the next 6 weeks. You said out of all the Everton. You said out of all the Everton midfielders, you would 100% pick Ndiaye and Dewsbury Hall before you pick Grealish. Cut to a week later, and you could pick anyone because it's a free hit. And who did you pick, Shane?
Big Jackie Grealish. And hey, I should have captained him. I should have even put the captain armor just for added effect. Do you know what it was? I'll tell you right now what it was. And for people that are listening for the first time to the show, where we do talk about FPL and we'll go through the teams. We also talk about the team matchups and why is this important. You know, left midfielder against the right back, you know, a little bit of weakness in the team. Calm, how you doing? Apologies. Don't ever apologise, mate. Good to see you.
Calm, quickly, but back me up because you probably came in too late for it. Yeah. Do you remember in one of the last episodes what had to say about Grealish and how many players he thought would do better than Grealish and how many Everton players he'd picked before he ever picked Grealish? And then his highest scoring player on his free hit, where he could pick anyone, is Jack Grealish.
So listen, this is the thing, right? And I think if people are stubborn, well, me and you were stubborn. I think a lot of FPL managers are stubborn. However, I looked at that game and just remind me who they were playing because it has been a 2-week game. Who were they playing again? Sorry. Couldn't even remember. Oh, I've been away. Like I said, I've not even on my phone.
Who do you think they were playing? Who would you?
I can't remember.
Who would you bring in an Everton player against?
Well, it was one of the only games I will have an Everton player.
It was Wolves. It was Wolves. I'll help
Wolves,
you out.
Right, there you go. So that's what we did. So I looked at the right back, and really the right back is very, very weak. There's people filling in position. So I thought I would attack. I would apply. I thought you'd be proud of me, Kieran. We'd apply our own double pivot methods into it, and hey, it worked. Do you know what I mean? Listen, I wouldn't have many Everton players in general, but I seen a weakness. I went for it, and it paid off. And I think he was about 3.8% owned. So, you know, I'm going to take that one. Now, the captaincy wasn't as good, and the rest of the team was pretty poor. So people on Spotify had Pickford, so brilliant. The one time I actually bring some Everton players in, defenders, they concede 2 goals to Wolves. Fantastic. Pickford at the back with 1, Pedro Porro 4, Milinkovic 1, Cucurella with 6, Reinders to Elanga 1, Gibbs White captain. Let's just talk about that. I'd already gone abroad, and by then I didn't have my phone. And I asked someone, I said, "Oh, what's the score?" And someone had a phone, and I had a look, and I could not believe I seen 3-0. I was like, "Yes, here we go." Gibbs White, Chris Wood, talk to me. 3-0 West Ham. I was like, "Excuse me." Come again? So I've again, like I said to you, Kieran, I've only just got kind of back this morning. I need to have a look through at the game, but yeah, 3-0 West Ham when West Ham have been getting battered. Nightmare. Anyway, that was a bit of a nightmare. Grealish 10, legend. Alan 9, Yao Pedro 9, and Chris Wood 2. Bench Vicario 3, Shaw 6, Coyote 1, and Anthony. I brought him in. I was never really going to play him, but if you remember the last show, I did say I'm going to bring him in because it wouldn't surprise me if he scored against United. And I also did see that United got a naughty little equaliser. Are they or are they not? I'm going to clip this. Are Man United or are they not the most hated team in England? I hate them, Kieran. I hate them. They didn't deserve it. They didn't deserve the win, and they got it. I hope they get battered this weekend. Anyway, apart from that,
you might hate them, right? But that kind of makes me want to like them now, weirdly, despite all my years of. No, look, the reality is, and one thing I will say is, Man United have recorded more than double the amount of shots than any other team in the Premier this season.
Yeah, they just
don't double.
Go in. They just don't go in
yet. Yeah, they don't go in yet, right? But it's an improvement. Talking through your team, there's nothing wrong with a lot of your picks, mate. Right? Like I think the 3-0 from West Ham. It looked like a 0-0 game, to be honest with you. I was watching it. I found my new local pub. Like there's a pub around the corner from me, and it's one of those where, you know, those pubs where you look at it from the outside because it's got an Indian shop and it's got other shops in there, so it's kind of like a parking facility. And I've never gone in there because, let's be honest, I've been a snob. I've gone, there's better pubs on the seafront. I went in, lovely inside. It had the Formula One on, it had the City game, and it had the City Brighton game. That's an interesting one, right? And also had the Forest West Ham one. And I focused more on the Forest and West Ham after the F1. And nothing was happening. And then West Ham scored and then battered them. It was just like one after another. Gibbs White, look, I liked him as a pick. I was very vocal again about like Chris Wood being, no way on my free hit. And people called me mental for that. So instead, you know, 3 Forest was, in my opinion, kind of a no-brainer on the free hit. So what I needed to do was on my team, Shane, went with 2 of them in defence. So there's my lovely decision to have. So look, I slightly beat yours by 4 points, and I went with 3 United midfielders, who again, I think you went 3 United midfielders, get them out of your team, and 2 of them were spot on. The problem was I captained the wrong one in Cunha with his injury within about 6 seconds.
Yeah, it was unlucky. Yeah, that was really. I did see that. It was really unlucky. Like, what can you do? You know, it's like flip a coin thing. It was just really unlucky.
Yeah, exactly. I went big Dan Burner compared to your Shaw. So who you benched your Shaw, but I really liked Dan Burn for that. Thought there might be a little header in there, but instead Newcastle did nothing. My punt up front was, instead of Wood, I went Will Asula. Thought I'd have a little bit of fun.
I like that. I've seen that, mate. I thought it was a great show.
It was, but Newcastle then did nothing. Same strikers as you, though, in Pedro and Haaland. And annoyingly, for ages, I had Sanchez in goal. And I changed to Sarr. Because I thought, do you know what? I do fancy a clean sheet for Wolves. However,
I'll let you continue first, and then I will.
I then watched the Chelsea game, and I was so grateful that I didn't go Sanchez because Fulham were battering him. I thought I wouldn't want to watch this game with owning Sanchez, and then Fulham scored. And I'm like, yes, right decision. At least my goalie's got a chance going into the game. But no, Sanchez gets rewarded. Fulham get cheated out of a goal. And
I agree. I actually watched that. That was Friday night game, wasn't it? I'm sure it was Friday night game.
It was, yeah.
Yeah,
whatever the first game was.
Yeah, and I had Cucurella, and when I seen it, they brought it back, and I seen it, and I was like, nah, he's not going to chop that off. And he chopped off, and I was like, the refs. I mean, with certain stuff that's going on in the ref just now, they're probably not the highest of the list, especially when news come in. But yeah, let's talk about, you talked about Grealish for me. I did see that you chose a Wolves, well, a player in general, but a Wolves defender / goalkeeper. And I thought, has Kieran been drinking in that new pub that he frequents? Because I was like, Because actually, you said Wolves would win, didn't you? You thought Wolves would win. I was a bit surprised.
They were at home, and
yeah.
I've not been impressed with Everton's strikers. That's what the case was, right? I hadn't been impressed with Besso or Barry. Yeah. I thought Wolves at home would probably be a little bit more focused and disciplined. And I'll be honest, I wanted Agbadu in my team. Genuinely, I was really tempted to start him because I thought in that kind of a game, he should be involved in a lot of the right actions to get DEFCON. So it could be quite a decent fixture for him. And I think they can get a clean sheet. And I think it's then my stubbornness of going, well, I'm not playing him. And what if Wolves get a clean sheet? Because I think they will. Nothing to back it up rather than I think they will, led for me to go Salah over Sanchez. That's basically what it was.
We were
I wanted some form of it.
And we were kind of right. Like I was quite surprised that, well, Everton scored 3. I thought maybe scored 2, maybe not 3, but then definitely not a 5-goal game. Like Wolves v Everton, there's 5 goals. Like I thought it'd be tight. I thought there'd be a clean sheet either way. So for 5 goals to be in it was a surprise to us both. But yeah, no, I've seen the logic behind it. And you were unlucky with the Forest defence as well. I mean, I think a lot of people went Forest and got burned by them. There's a lot of dynamics this year, isn't there? And ever more, obviously, since I've come back, I've seen that Ange has gone in there. We had a conversation before, which I think is hugely detrimental. Yeah, they're done. Their options are done. Anderson midfield, I think that option's done. Maybe, like Coleman a good shot. Gibbs White might be a decent pick. No, I don't think any defenders now, really. Yeah, he's had a bit of a nightmare. But I do like your United. I did.
Do you think he'll like Chris Wood? Because, he's an Aussie and Chris Wood's a Kiwi.
Wow, he's playing with the under-19s, isn't he? I don't know. I've seen they've signed like half of, what team was it? Corinthians or something. They've signed like 4 or 5. So I don't know, like half the team. So anyway, I don't know.
Shall we move along? Because let's not take too long on this, and let's jump into.
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, but look at this. Beautiful.
Who made that, Kieran? Who made that?
So we've got a new. Do you know what I've just realised as well? Pretty hilarious. Boom. Let's change the right corner into the right image rather than tension. There are, by the way, there's 2 episodes in editing. Unfortunately, my personal laptop won't let me edit them properly anymore. So one of them is probably, once I sort out a laptop, probably 30 minutes of work left to release. The goal was to release it during this international break, Shane, but laptop exploded on me in the final stages of editing it. So
it'll be in soon, coming soon. So watch out.
In soon, sometime. But so instead, here's our glamorous assistant, ChatGPT. I think it's got the dates right. I think it's got the times right. I think it's got the fixtures right, and I think it's spelt the teams right.
Robots,
what more can we ask for?
Yeah, that's it. What jumps out at you? Because again, like literally, like I was saying to people, I only just put one post up. I think on the way back today. I've not even really had too much of a look, but the one that stands out for me is obviously the early kickoff Arsenal Forest, which a lot of people think that is going to be a hard fight put up, and Ange isn't going to change stuff. Well, I think maybe at 2:00 after that game, I think they probably will change stuff. Elsewhere, I think. Do you know what I was looking? I was looking at clean sheets. I think clean sheets this week is really hard to predict. Maybe apart from the Arsenal game, I think every other game is quite hard to predict. No, in terms of clean sheets.
Yeah, I think. Look, let's.
It's a great setup. I'm loving the early kickoff, then the 3s, then the late, and the later what. Do you know what I mean? I'm liking that.
There's a lot of games in a very short period of time this time, right? Like, it does almost get to that point where summer's over. They think we're all going to be at home a little bit more, so let's give us something to watch in the evening. So, look, I agree with you. I think. Let's have a look at a couple of the things. And again, probably one of the most used graphics that we've seen recently and people that most of the people are sharing is Rob T FPL. So might as well just flick over to the screen to have a look at his goal and clean sheet odds to kind of paint that picture there. So as you were saying, Shane, if you kind of run through it, in theory, it's Arsenal, Liverpool, Newcastle, Palace are your ones with over 40% chance of a clean sheet this week, but no one over 50%, right? And I think that's the telling thing where in all of these games, the teams they're playing are expected to score between 0.82 and 0.85 of a goal, which is pretty close to a goal.
And can I just say, like, again, I get there's pros and cons for this 5 at the back business, right? but you do have to change it and adapt. And what I would say is like go with what you think. Like obviously have a look and watch people on pods and stuff, but then go with what you think because like anything, isn't it, Kieran? If we don't choose that player and he bangs, it would be like, oh, I was going to choose him. Now you're going to play 5 at the back. Are you going to play 5 at the back? Because there's not going to be many clean sheets. And for me, I'm on wild card. I'm more inclined to double up. I'm even looking at a triple up, Kieran. Very interesting. I'm looking at a a triple up where Palace is up there, 43%. Newsflash or spoiler, I'm looking at a triple up on Palace defense. But
You're
yeah, like we
have my Palace defenders.
Oh yeah, well, LaCroix. In fact, LaCroix is in there. He is in there. So yeah, I think it's good to use this as a little bit of a boundary, isn't it? And kind of get your thoughts together for the game week. But yeah, as long as you've got the big hitters, and that's another reason why I went into wildcard as well, because a lot of people aren't going to have triple Liverpool or double.
To your point, Shane, look, I think it's a good time to talk about like your whole blasphemous stuff about DEFCON nonsense, right? And we'll obviously use him as an example in some of these cases, right? So DEFCON is something that I think some people are using and assuming certain players will get it. And again, we're 3 games into the season. So we don't yet know if it's a team you're facing that's going to increase your chances of getting DEFCON or if it's certain players who just will be very consistent in it. I think there are already 5 that have been identified that I would agree offer the right mix of should get DEFCON more than 2/3, probably more than 3/4 of the games.
Yeah.
And do have some form of an attacking threat in that you can expect maybe 3 to 8 attacking returns and play for teams that can get maybe 8 to 12 clean sheets, right? And I think, or more, right? And I think those defenders are Virgil van Dijk, Senesi at Bournemouth, LaCroix at Palace. Fizzy Water at Palace, who did hit it 3 times, but unfortunately they were the final game, which then means that when it gets corrected by Opta, you won't get it corrected. And that is a fair rule. It is also taken into consideration that with them playing in Europe, they quite often will be that final game on Sunday. So you will be in that scenario more often than you probably want to when considering him, but he's there. And I think those 3 all relatively safe. Tarkowski as well. I think those 4 pretty strong. We then throw in Brentford's Van der Beek or Van der Berg. Decent. And I think having a blend of like 3 or 4 of those does make a lot of sense. And the reason being, let's look at this. The next 6 games, the top defense is Arsenal, who are predicted to get 2.5 clean sheets. So if we did 2.5 times by 4, because that's how many points you get, that's 10 points, right? 10 points of clean sheets. To get 10 points in DEFCON, they need to get it in 5 of those games. And, or not even that, if we then look, Burnley are expected to get 1. They're the worst, right? Now, I'm not saying get a defender from Burnley or Sunderland, but Brentford is one that people are looking at. So Brentford, I think, is a fair example. So 1.1 is 4.4 points, right? So that's 5.6 points less than Arsenal, who are the best defence and the most likely to get clean sheets. So 5.6 means that the Brentford defender needs to get DEFCON in half of the games to win against an Arsenal defender. And they will. Like, VDB will get, he'll probably get 4 or 5 DEFCONs in this. So he's probably getting, let's say 8. Let's be conservative and say he gets 8 from that. 8 plus the 4.4 of clean sheets is 12.2. That's 22% more than an Arsenal defender is predicted to get. So again, it's that right balance. Now, if you jumped up to Everton, you now have 6 points from the clean sheets. And that means Tarkowski only needs to get it in 2 games to break even. In only a third, and we know he's going to get it in 75%. So I think that's where the points are, where use this and balance them both. Deduct clean sheets or add those clean sheet points on and try and get a defender. Like if you were choosing between Senesi and VDB right now, I'd be going Senesi because it's an extra half a clean sheet. That's an extra 2 points there. So it's easier for him to make up a gap on a Gabriel. You then throw in a Virgil van Dijk and you go 2.1 clean sheets. That's 8.4 points. Plus, he'll get DEFCON in at least 4 of those. No brainer.
Yeah, I think it's easy to get lost if you have I think some people have an initial plan, don't they? And then they kind of waddle through it and wade through it. I think with this, you've got to have a substantial plan, and I think fixtures they never work out how we intend, do they? Past the 5-6 players that you said, I think people are just going CBIT. Yeah, they might get that. For instance, we were talking about Anderson at Fulham.
And let's use Anderson. Let's use Anderson here, right? 1.4. So that is 5.2 points in clean sheets, right? So that's 4.8 less. Now, has Anderson got it yet? Maybe once?
I think he's got it once, yeah.
So that's 1 in 3. So he might break even with it, but he needs to get a clean sheet this week. If he doesn't clean this week, that makes up 0.5 of their 1.4 projected. Well, 0.35, but do you know what I mean? It makes up a good amount. That's their most likely clean sheet potential. I think that's where the problem is. So he needs to smash it. I think it's 2 from 3 of, I imagine he's saying, of the DEFCON monsters. And you probably, if I was wildcarding now, then it would be Van Dijk.
Yep.
And it would be Lacroix for DEFCON. And I'd have Senesi because 4.5 mils a no-brainer, or 4.7, no-brainer. They're 9th for predicted clean sheets. He gets DEFCON. He's a target man. And again, all these players, Van Dijk, Lacroix, Tarkowski, and Senesi are the target men from set pieces. Lacroix, Fizzy Walter, and I said it pre-season, was one of the highest XG underperformers in the Premier League last year. He was in the top 10.
You did say it. You said Barco last season, and then you said Fizzy Walter this season.
All right, wrong on Barco, right on Fizzy Walter. Again, it's getting that blend right. So again, Anderson, he is a target from set pieces, but how many set pieces do Fulham get? And that's where the balance comes in as well. And
that's why people need to take into consideration. They can't just blanket. There's so much to change this season, isn't there? With everything, bonus points, everything, and the dynamics of every team. Look at Forest the other day. You have to factor that into pretty much every single weekend, and that's kind of what I do in terms of if I'm doing that predicted game or stuff like that. That's what I do.
You also need to throw in the fact that if you pick a Fulham defender, in one of those games, they're going to concede 4 goals, right? You're going to get negative points.
Exactly.
So again, it needs to be a semi-decent team. And for me, I now think the weighting the other things that I'd add are centre-backs are guaranteed 90 minutes, even in European football. They're playing 90, right? Even in busier weeks, they're playing 90. So you're locking up those points. You're not getting a rotation. So there is security. They also very rarely get injured. And I said at the start of the season that my goal would be to make very few defensive transfers and just bank on players and use my transfers on attacking players to attack fixtures, to attack runs. So I still stick by that. But I think what I'd say now is I'd put about 50% of me picking a player would be based on DEFCON, right? I think it would be very unlikely for me to pick a player that's got no chance of DEFCON unless it is Frimpong is back fit and he's facing Everton, Burnley, Leeds, West Ham in the next 6 or 8 games, right? Then I'm going, right, cool, all day. That's where goals and assists would be 25% and clean sheets would be 25%. Because I don't think clean sheets are worth enough. So maybe it's 40% DEFCON and 30 for each of them, right? But again, my highest amount that I would apply to picking a defender would be, will they get DEFCON 75% of the time in their next 6 fixtures? Will they get it for 6? And if they will, I'm taking those 8 points instantly.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do anyway, I think probably a lot of people have done is put that list. Do you know what I mean? Those generic players, and as they maybe become apparent, add them to your CBIT list that you can choose from, unless you're attacking a game week. But yeah, like you're saying, and it's probably changed a few in my wild card now, because I was going to have 1 or 2, but I might have maybe 1 or 2 more. Do you know what I mean? Especially for the long term. Because
Well, look, let's
like
go back to the fixtures, though, Shane. I think we want to spend
good show.
Let's spend 20 minutes on going through these, and then we'll spend about 10 minutes just going through our teams. And if anyone's joined and has a few questions, we'll answer those. If not, we will
Definitely.
Our goal is to keep this to an hour this time, genuinely. So we're going to do everything we can. One thing I'm going to mention off the bat about Arsenal, and I don't know if many people know this, but last season, I believe we had 7 games that Saliba didn't play.
Ooh, is he injured, by the way?
He's injured.
Oh, okay,
we conceded in 6 of them. So Arsenal, who are very good for clean sheets, 6 of the games they conceded were when Saliba wasn't playing.
And Ange's very attacking, though he'll probably lose about 8 goals.
Players will want to prove themselves to Ange as well, right? Because there are rotational players in there. So I think, for me, there isn't a Forest player that I would pick right now or anytime soon as an FPL asset. New manager, no one's worth considering. I agree with the idea of if you own one of their defenders, you probably want to move them out. They are 13th for clean sheets over the next 6. So
that's being generous for Ange. That's generous, I think.
And they're expensive as well, right? They're 5.5 mil. So you can move off of them and get anyone apart from Van Dijk right now, essentially.
Tarkowski. So, maybe not for Shane because it doesn't really different. But
no, but they're 12, right? But if you don't have Lacroix, then you go for Lacroix for 5.5, right?
Yeah.
Like Lacroix is 5 actually, isn't he? So like again, for me, it's about those price points. Lacroix is just a no-brainer because 5 mil is just like, yes, give me those points. Give me those points right now. So for me, I'm looking at this Arsenal game. I think it's Arsenal at home. They win.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I think Saka gets minutes.
Yeah, he still wants to keep him a little bit fresh.
Well, no, so Saka's red flagged, right?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah,
but Saka's been training for the last 4 days, and on grass. So 12:30 might be a little bit early.
This is valuable information.
I don't think he starts.
You think he comes?
I think we start with Madueke as a Gok, Odegaard.
Yeah.
But I think he comes on for the final 30 minutes. And for me personally, if you happen to still have him and be stupid and not have like transferred him out or whatever, or not on a wild card, I'd probably hold him because I still fancy 30 minutes against an Ange team at the end of the game. So, I think the other things to keep an eye on, he might not because we've got Champions League midweek and we play on Tuesday, 5:45 kickoff. So again, there's decent enough turnaround from that's why they're the Saturday early kickoff as well. But need to take into consideration, like Madueke will get a rest during the game and Saka will come on because of the fact that Madueke played a lot for England over the break as well. So for me, I'm going like I'd go 3-1 Arsenal on this. If I was on wild card or free hit, I don't know who
Shane is on.
I'm not. I don't.
And then after that, they've got City and Newcastle. So...
Yeah, look, and I think Arsenal attackers and defenders, like again, Arsenal defend better when they're playing against better teams. Like Liverpool only scored a free kick. That's it. So I think Arsenal defense is solid. Probably more likely to get a clean sheet against City and Newcastle than they are against Forest.
Yeah, granted.
That's what I'd say. I think attackers for Arsenal are also better against those kind of teams because City will attack us. And Newcastle, whilst they've got our number, their way of beating Arsenal last year was counter-attacking and using the pace of Isak. We'll see how well their new boys have adapted. I think Elanga can still punish Arsenal, though. For me, Gyökeres is very expensive still, and I still think strikers are difficult to justify spending money on that much unless it's Haaland. I think there's just other options that are better, particularly if I was on a free hit this week.
Yeah, and he's still new, Gyökeres. He's still adapting to the league as well. I think people have got to be very careful. I fell into the Verts trap as well, so it does take players time to adapt into the league, doesn't it? But I think in terms of me wildcard, I'm probably going to stay clear just now. Build up a few transfers and bring Gabriel in. How long's Saliba meant to be out for?
It won't be super long.
Okay. So
there is one person I think right now that we're all going to be kicking ourselves, particularly people that wild card now, and it's you're making a commitment here. You're spending money, right? This isn't a cheap investment, but it's your cheapest and guaranteed minutes way into the Arsenal defence. And I genuinely think Raya is now the number one goalkeeper in the game.
Do you think?
Because, well, I think Arsenal are the only team where clean sheets are probably high enough to want one of their defenders without getting DEFCON. I think you would love to have Calafiori or Timber or Lewis Skelly or whoever is, or White, whoever you know is going to be playing. And I think you can't secure any of those with Champions League coming up because you don't know which will play which.
Yeah.
So I think you don't get guaranteed minutes with the wing backs. You don't get the DEFCON with the centre backs, and the centre backs are $500,000 more than the goalkeeper. So I think $5.5 million for Raya is a no-brainer. You pair him up with the Leeds reserve goalkeeper, who's $4 million now with Perry out injured, or Dubravka for your $4 million, and you've just got Raya, and he's a set and forget, right? Because Arsenal were predicted to get they're 44%, 31%, 32%, 52%, 40%, 48%.
Yeah, you still want to. Yeah, but do I want to leave that on the bench? I mean, saying that, yeah, and like we said, it's a bit of a free hit to have the big defenders in the big games. You know, for the CBIT, for maybe a goal threat. You know, like a 1-0. So yeah, it's a good shout. It's just shout a few in the chat. FPL Sparta, mate. Good to see you. Brandon Chan as well has got a question. We'll do the questions at the end. But there's a lot of people needing advice this week, Kieran, and we are here for it. Some of the advice is good, some of it's not the best, but some of it's good.
Shane, we'll move on to the next game. But what's your prediction for Arsenal Forest?
Do you know what? I was going to go 1-0 Arsenal there, but I thought, Ange is in now, so I'll have to reconfigure that. 2-1 Arsenal. 2-1 Arsenal.
Cool. I'll go with 3-1.
What about yourself?
3-1 for me.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, a bit of Ange, but yeah, it's good.
All right, sweet. So look, Bournemouth v Brighton. Again, I think this is.
Put them in the chat, guys, as well. One. Yeah, put them in the chat as ever. It's good to see what everyone else thinks.
For me, I don't hate people that are looking at a double up in Bournemouth defence in terms of like having Petrovic in goal and having Senesi. I think Semenyo is still a solid option, and from what a lot of Bournemouth fans have been saying, it'll be hard for Kluivert to get back in because Bournemouth have just looked good with all the players they've had. So Semenyo is decent, and the FPL Wire boys were showing earlier today, that Senesi's XG per shot has improved. So whilst his shooting still slightly erratic, he's now way more likely to score from the shots he's taken, which is definitely a good thing. Could be a sign of maturing. But for me personally, I think I still think Semenyo is a good pick. I think Brighton are a confusing team in that lots of people have transferred Ruter out, right? Jorginho, because he got benched. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't surprise me if he then played this game in the 10, right? Because I think they've got so many players that they will just be letting them all play and trying different formations. There might be a game where he plays striker again. So, again, I think it's just Bournemouth players I'd be looking at. There's no Brighton players that I bring in. I'm still a Decoy Perona. I play him in this game because why not? But that's
for me. Do you know what, Kieran? I love Decoy Perona. I loved him when we played the other game so rare and stuff, and he's a bit of a legend in kind of Europe zone. But nah, not for me. I mean, I'm wildcarding anyway, but he's away from me. But again, if you had him, you are going to play him. I'm going first on this, innit? So Bournemouth, Brighton. But, Bournemouth's a difficult place to go. Brighton, like you said, they're a confused side. They're hard to predict. And I think it gets a little bit difficult. I know they beat City last week, but I'm going to go for a 2-0 Bournemouth. A solid display from the Cherries. 2-0 Bournemouth. What's everyone else think in the chat? What do you think, Kieran?
Cool. I'm going to go with 3-2 Bournemouth on this one.
Oh, Jackie, 2-0. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's 3-2. Right, next one, Palace Sunderland. Listen, a little spoiler alert, but I'm looking at a triple up in defence this week, and it's for Palace. Like you're saying, Fizzy Water, he gets extra points. Munoz against the Sunderland side, especially at home, and Henderson in goal. And there's a high chance I do go for it. Actually, like we're saying, it's hard to predict this week of where the clean sheets are going to come from. So at least if you have a triple up, you only need that one fixture. Quite often we'll spread our seeds out, if you will, Kieran, and we always want,
who's your third?
4 or 5
Who's your third defender?
Well, no, I've got Munoz, Fizzy Water, and Henderson. So I've got.
All right, Henderson.
But yeah.
There's some interesting things there, right? Where there's been a couple of signings that Palace have made recently. So they got Christiantus Uche, who's a young striker. They also got Jeremy Pino. And I wonder with the Sarr injury whether Jeremy Pino could be a naughty little option for people on a wild card, particularly in this game against Sunderland. I get the Henderson pick, and I'm not against triple ups in defence, particularly against the Sunderland. Palace are one of the top 4 teams for clean sheets this week, so makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
But at the same time, after this game, it drops down a lot. It drops down a lot for them. They're less likely to be getting cleans. I still think you got the benefit of Munoz. Munoz you're getting for the attacking upside, and the guaranteed that. So both of them in isolation makes sense. But I think how much is Henderson?
He's 5, I'm pretty sure. Check. I've got it here.
This is where I'd almost certainly find a way. Yeah, so that's my point. That's where. Who's your other goalkeeper that you're thinking?
I've got Ficario at the moment. Obviously, I'd play one of them, and the other one, I'd strip down. But I'd probably.
But that's what I mean. If you were saying him and Ficario, that would be my suggestion would be drop down to a 4.0 and Raya.
Yeah,
because there's your extra half, right? And then you're setting in a solid goalkeeper, just moving forward, that you don't even have to worry about who you're starting.
Yeah. So I need to look at the fixtures. But Liverpool got some good defensive fixtures. They got Burnley. And Everton, but it's a bit of a waste because they're going to score more goals. But you never know. It might be solid points.
Yeah, that's it. I think I'd be super tempted. More so on a free hit, I'd be tempted to go with
Pino, because they don't have one.
But so I think certainly Pino's the one that I would get in this week, even on a wild card.
This down. I'll have a wee look.
Jeremy.
What are you going to go for?
3-0. 3-0 Palace.
Oh, good omens. Good omens for Shane. I'm probably going to just, again, another solid display, 2-0. 2-0 Palace. Next, Everton Villa. Jack Ello Grealish returns to not Villa Park, because it's Everton, but I'm a bit gutted that I only had him for 1 week, because I think he could do half decently well against Villa. Everton, they're probably messing up a bit. Defense-wise, they're not doing as well as what they normally are, but attacking-wise, they're doing a little bit better. But I think in this game, I'm just going to come out of the blocks and say it. I think this game, easy, 1-0, Everton. How'd you like those apples? Done. Jack Grealish, assist. Jack Grealish assist. In Daigo. What do you think? Jackie, 1-0, yes. Now we're talking. Me and Jackie, it's like this. It is
that was my prediction for Palace Sunderland, I think. So, by the way, Colm, sorry to hear you're getting over COVID. Most people got over it years ago, mate. Time to move on. Move on with your life. Stop obsessing over it. But no, sorry to hear you're unwell, and hopefully you are feeling better, mate. In terms of
big hugs.
Everton Villa, I'm Team Villa, right?
Team Villa.
I'd be getting, not in terms of for this game, but
I
find it funny that people are moving off of Villa assets. I think it's hilarious because I think they've made a very, very smart signing with Harvey Elliott, who's going straight into that team. I think
great player, underrated.
Yeah, Watkins does this every season where people take him out early on and then he comes to life after the international break. And Morgan Rogers is the same. And also Villa are playing in the Europa League, right? So Emery Emery's going to win that. Like, they're going to walk it, but he can rotate because the standard of opposition in Europa League is awful. And a Prem team will win the Europa League for the next 6 years because the Europa League is awful now in terms of standard of players. So, I think Villa are going to come to life during this period. And again, if I was wildcarding, I'd probably be looking at a Villa defender for game weeks 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah,
have on my bench, but then having him in there. And I'd probably go with Konza because we saw him for England game. Again, it's only an international game, but he somehow finds a way of getting his head onto stuff.
I had him last season for the majority. Yeah, he's a nightmare. Although I do have a Villa player in my team. Can you maybe guess? We'll see as we go along.
I think it's that 3 weeks. I think it's a game week 5, 6, 7 that I'd want him for, right?
Yes, Geddy.
I will also... Yeah, look, I'd fancy... I'd punt on Harvey Elliott, mate, if I was going on a wild card now. I'd find a way of getting Harvey Elliott in.
You're not overlooking Rodgers, mate.
I prefer Harvey Elliott.
Really? I think Rodgers is class, man.
I had a view on Rodgers last year, and he continues to do it. He is the distraction. Rodgers' role in the team, more often than not, is to drag players out of position. Now, that can lead to him then squaring it to a player who scores. But what happened way more often was that he was a pre-assister or pre-chance creator. I find that he gets 1.5 times that he will pass it to someone else who will then assist the goal to the amount of times that he does it himself. And I think in the new system, Harvey Elliott will be that person he's passing it to. And Harvey Elliott isn't going to be assisting. I think we'll probably see Rodgers get some more assists because of how selfish Elliott will be when he receives the ball. So I think Elliott's going to be taking a lot of shots, and I think Watkins will probably see a few less goals. So yeah, my Villa play would be Harvey Elliott. For this game, I'm going with a 2-2 though.
Little Desmond, eh? I've done mine, haven't I? Yeah, I done mine.
Yeah, you went with 1-0 to Everton.
Fulham Leeds. I don't think we need to say too much about this. I don't know. It's a hard one to predict. Will it be like a bit of a stalemate, or will there be goals? It's a tough one to state. Fulham, at home, they're a little bit more defensively sure. But Leeds, I like Leeds, and I think you've got them to stay up, haven't you? I've got them to stay to get close to staying up. So I think this got a draw written all over it. I'm just going to go for a 1-1. Bit of a boring 1-1, right?
Yeah, and again, I think these are two teams where maybe you get Leeds backup goalkeeper if Perry's out for a long time. If you're on wildcard, it's the 4-0 option. Probably a better option than Sunderland, right?
So who's the backup keeper?
I don't know. I'd have to check.
I don't even know. Yeah,
it's one of those I heard recently, and again, I think it's just one that I'd look into.
Look at this, Kieran. Look at this, Jackie. Fulham 1-1. Talk to me and Jackie like this. Do you know what I mean?
I think your other half's going to be concerned about you and Jackie getting on so well soon, Shane. This is basically what I was going to say. Is I don't think I'd consider players from either of these teams unless they were enablers, right?
Yeah.
I think Fulham have the best 4.5 million midfielder in the game in Josh King.
Yeah, class. You did say.
In fact, no. I'm going to say one thing actually. There's one player who I wouldn't bring in anywhere anytime soon, but when the fixtures start to turn for them, in fact, maybe this week, Leeds and then Brentford aren't bad fixtures. So if I really wanted to have fun, then I might go for their new boy that they signed, Kevin.
Big Kevin.
Kevin, yeah. How much is Kevin in the game? Let's have a quick look. Kevin is 6 million. I wouldn't touch him in that case. But yeah, I think Fulham have the best there, and I think Leeds have the best 4.0 goalkeeper and defender. Outside of that, I wouldn't be planning to start any of their players.
Yeah, no, I'm the same.
So yeah, prediction-wise, I'm going to go with. I think I'm going to go with another 2-2, to be honest with you, mate.
Oh, Desmond, yeah, both conceding. That's another reason don't get Anderson in your team because he won't get CBIT and he won't keep a clean sheet. Just a quick one there on Colm. Colm says how soon he was forgot. Colm is never forgot on the show. Colm's a staple. Colm's a cornerstone of this show.
Who's Colm?
Who's Colm? Oh, he's doing it. He's doing it to you, Colm. Don't take it. Don't take the heat. Right, what's next? Newcastle
Oh, Carl,
Wolves.
Palace fan, right? Big Palace fan.
Oh, Colm, don't take that. I'm on your side, mate.
Chelsea?
He's laughing. Newcastle at home to Wolves. I don't really see anything other than domination by Newcastle. Like you said before, they've been a bit meh. Newcastle, haven't they? They've been boring. They've been meh. By the way, can I just say, what in the actual F was Eddie Howe doing? And probably I was a bit annoyed because I put a line in my team and he didn't start. What was he doing? What were the tactics behind? Because I need to catch up on this. Can you film? What was he doing? What was that all about?
I think there's an argument that he
is he trying to get more players.
Oh yeah, I think he was trying to prove a point, right?
Yeah,
I think it was a play of saying, look, we know that we're selling Isak. We all know that Isak's going. And let's say with us now playing in the Champions League against teams like Barcelona in the first bloody match day, that I'm going to have to rotate some of my players for this. So tell you what, let me show you what my backups look like. What do you reckon?
Did he play Livermore at right wing?
Yep.
I mean, he's gone rogue there. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. So I think it then led to signing Vortamade, who has played like half a season twice and one season in the Spanish third division.
And this is another bone I can put, right? If you said that name before they bought him, everyone's like, who? And now he's like the German, like Messi. Oh yeah, this guy's quality.
No, you'll get some people who watch like highlights of the under-21 tournaments, right? And you'll get some people who do watch those tournaments who will know who he is.
Of course,
right?
yeah.
But the reality is, I can tell you. In fact, let's have a quick look at this because I think it'll be quite fun.
But do you know what I mean? Like that was another bone to pick before I left. Like everyone, that's what mad. Like especially Newcastle felt like, yeah, this guy, he's going to be class. He's going to be class. You didn't even know who he was, man. You had to. It's funny. I would have loved to seen the traffic on Google for Walter Maddy. Do you know what I mean? To be like searching his name and he looks really good. Again,
okay. So look to go through some of it. I think what I find interesting is he wasn't the player of the tournament, right? Yeah. I don't think he was, but I think he was pretty decent, and that's fair enough. But if we have a look through some of the historic World and Euro players of the tournament, the Euro ones are fine, but the actual player of the tournament last time was Harvey Elliott, right? The one before was Anthony Gordon. The one before that was Fabio Vieira. Do you remember him at Arsenal?
I do remember him, yes.
He was fine, right? Before that was Fabian Ruiz, who I think is a fantastic
player. Yeah.
Before that was Ceballos, who was class. Before that was William Carvalho. That was in 2015. He now plays in Mexico. So 10 years later, he plays in Mexico. Before that was Thiago Alcantara. Yeah, he was class. Before that was Juan Mata. That was fine. But before that was Marcus Berg, Royston Drenthe, Alberto Giardino. Like, it's
Drenthe was at Madrid, wasn't he? He went to Madrid after that. Yeah, they bought him in anyways. Webster still let him go. But
so look, he was top goal scorer. But other top goal scorers include Alvaro Morata, Jan Limont, Saul, Luka Vodschmidt, and Lucas Nemecha, who are all fine, but they're not like world beaters. So again, it's fine, but I wouldn't read too much into it. Vissa is a better sign. I think he's a long-term signing for them, and I think Vissa is for this year.
I mean, there's a few up there. So Jackie's gone, 2-0 Newcastle. Colm's gone 3-2.
Yeah, we better round through the scores.
Geddy's gone 3-1. I'm going to go 3-0 Newcastle. I don't see them conceding.
I'm going 2-1 Newcastle. All right, we'll rattle through this and try and get this done in the next few minutes.
London Derby.
Spurs.
Oh, what an evening kickoff, by the way. Stop it. What? That is a Saturday lineup and a half.
It is. Yeah. Look, I think, just a couple of things I'll say on this. I think Paqueta is actually a genuinely strong option as a midfielder, and I think he's a cheaper version of Bruno. I'd agree with people on that. I wouldn't have both of them. I'd probably prefer to have Paqueta over Bruno for the right fixtures. I think Bowen is actually a good price as a striker because we know he's going to get like 20 plus attacking returns, maybe 30.
Do you think he gets that against a Tottenham team that are solid though?
It's different when you're playing against Spurs quite often, right? But again, I think Spurs are better defensively now. I think this will be exciting to see how Xavi Simons does, right?
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Let's back this up. Spurs are better defensively now. I'm pretty sure Shane said at the start they're going to be very strong defensive, and a lot of people.
Thomas Frank effect. Yeah, Thomas Frank effect.
That's it. He got them organised.
But he will also risk, if it's a 0-0 game, Thomas Frank will be highly likely to concede, as likely as he is to score, because he'll go for the win. For this game in particular, I'll go with a Thomas Frank win, but I think Spurs West Ham get a goal, so I'll go 2-1.
Yeah. I think they continue defensive, not masterclass, but I go 2-0 Spurs. Yeah, I think that West Ham bounce back. Listen, I need to look at the highlights a little bit more, but yeah, it's one game. There's a lot going on at Forest, a lot of turmoil. So I think people think they've improved a little when they haven't. I go for a 2-0 complete control from Spurs. Again, look at that midfield from the other week against City. In midfield, West Ham are a bit leggy, a bit bare. So yeah, 2-0 Tottenham. Another London derby, Brentford-Chelsea, late kickoff, 8:00. Let's just go into this because we're getting the hour. So Brentford aren't as good. Chelsea, they're still a bit meh. They are a bit better, a bit meh. I do think Chelsea concede because they've been very, very lucky. Sanchez as well, I think he's just not a good goalkeeper. Like what anyone says, he's just not a good goalkeeper. He's not good enough to beat a club like Chelsea. I do think Brentford score, but I think Chelsea get the handle of it. I'll go 2-1 Chelsea. Colm's gone 1-1. Geddy's gone 2-1 Chelsea as well. I like it. Jackie's gone 2-0 Chelsea. Geddy's gone 3-0 Chelsea. What is Kieran going to go?
Yeah, Brentford suck. It'll be 5-0 Chelsea.
5-0 what? Oh, come on. 5-0 Chelsea.
Who's going to score for Brentford? They sold Visser. What, Thiago's going to score? Like, nah,
yeah, but we're
talking
about Van den Berg saying about defensive contribute. Like, you can still get him obviously with 5-0, but that'll be closer.
No. But that's why he's not a selection for me. That's why he's like fifth on those options for me. Look, it probably won't be 5-0, but Uatara is decent, but I just think Chelsea are going to get their act together and just batter someone, and they can just walk to the Brentford ground and batter them. Burnley v Liverpool. I'm seeing people wildcard to get Liverpool players in, but none of us know who the Liverpool players will be. Like, Isak will be good longer term, but he's going to get 20 minutes against Burnley, which is also good. Ekitike is now impacted. Is Gakpo the pick? Do we think Wirtz comes to life? Is Salah dead? Is Van Dijk the only Liverpool player that you would definitely pick?
Well, saying that, now we were talking about goalkeepers, I'd be more inclined, actually, now you've said that, because you don't know what attackers are going to play to. I think Salah's overpriced. We've discussed this anyway. You know, for the amount of money, I think he's overpriced, because when you get a Gakpo, Ekitike, even Isak, is Alisson maybe the pick with Van Dijk? I might do a little double up with Van Dijk, you know, because we've got two good fixtures coming up. And then when you've got a few transfers, you know, you could swap them out or have a slightly kind of second-rate keeper. I think it'll be a batter in this. I know Burnley, they're at home, so they won't be as defensively, you know, kind of 10 behind the ball, but I still think it's a batter in. I think Liverpool control it. I'm going to go 4-0. I'm going to go a batter in, mate. Salah Hattie. Yeah, I just don't see. I think the goals will be shared around. Like we've discussed this, that Salah's been absolutely. The fact that, you know, content creators have got away with captaining him on a few occasions has been exceptionally lucky. And it's only going to get worse with Isak. And it's funny that people are now... Do you know what happened over the next few game weeks, Kieran? Is people be, oh, well, Isak's coming now, so Salah's not the biggest option. He wasn't really an option before. You had Gakpo. Wirtz obviously is not playing that well, but whatever. You've got Ekitike as well, and now you've got Isak. So, unless he's banging double points... He's not worth it. He isn't.
No, but look, to keep it moving along, this is Salah and Liverpool's result, but this is Salah against Burnley, and there's 1 goal and 2 assists there against Burnley. But the other thing that stands out to me is Liverpool don't really seem to batter Burnley. I think they do okay against them, but I don't think they batter them. So I'm probably going to go with 3-0.
Yeah, I think it helps a little bit more. Liverpool aren't at home. Burnley have to come out a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? I think that does help. Yes,
I don't think they need to come out at all.
Come out. What's the last one? What is the last one on Sunday?
I need to go back to that, don't I? There you all go.
I'm kind of thinking. God, what's the last one? God, come on now. City United. Listen, again, I need to look at the Brighton game, but a little known Shane did say at the start of the season, and I reiterate this, and I'm going to clip this. Pep, last season at City. It's his last season at City. He doesn't normally stay at a club this long anyway. I said last season they were very, very light midfield. Exactly the same now. They've got a few injuries coming in. It's not going well. They got beat by Brighton. Again, it's nothing wrong with Brighton because they've got a really good record against City, but it's not going to Pep's form now. And he doesn't have these players that are popping up at the very last minute to not save his job, obviously, but just save the continued train of the City going along. And I think they're going to be laid bare in this next section. Game week 4 to maybe 15, and they'll be discounted as a title. I don't think they'll go for the title. Do you know what I mean? I don't think they'll be considered within it. It's a long season, I get it, but yeah, I think they're very, very light. Do you not think people are they are realizing that a little bit more now, especially in midfield?
No,
not
all. I still think City are top 2 end of the season. So
really above what? Above Liverpool, Arsenal?
I still think City can win the league this year. I just think Haaland's an absolute beast. Haaland's the most essential player in this game. Haaland smashed
good point,
a team in the international break. And again, I said Haaland starts the first 4 games well, and he's started the first 3 well, and he's going to score against United, right? I also agree with you, though, that they're more vulnerable defensively at the moment. They will concede goals. United take lots of shots. Yeah,
look at that back 4. Do you know what I mean? It's like an infill back 4. I know they got injuries and stuff, but it's just, you look at it and your face is a bit like, Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that face of...
But they're the only team that can deal with Champions League and Premier League simultaneously out of most of the teams there.
But can they? I think with that Champions League coming in now, I think they are going to find it. They're still good, yeah. They're not going to beat every week and stuff, but I think they're going to suffer a bit. But anyway, we're going. Com's going 3-1.
Yeah, let's go past it. But I'm going 4-3. No, 4-3.
4-3. Oh, that's like an old school Rooney-esque game, isn't it? Com's going 3-1. City. Jackie's gone a little Desmond. Geddy's gone 3-2 United. Geddy, I love you. A little bit. But for actually saying that, I've been sitting on the best. But I don't know. Do you know what? For the last wee while, I've always been like, do you know what? United are due a battering, blah, blah, blah. And they always seem to keep it close. I actually think this weekend, they're going to get battered. I think there's a lot of pressure on them. I'm going to go with 3-0. 3-0. Right. Whose team are we on now? This is my team, isn't it? Right. So for the people,
and I was going to say, Shane, what we'll do, because I know that you're just back from your trip, we're not going to drag this on much beyond it. I think because you're on a wild card, I imagine you've got plans for a running or a Dakota video coming up where you'll be able to tell us more about your wild card.
I like that. On Friday. Yeah, we'll just drop that in on Friday morning. We do it all the time. Dakota. We go through the fixtures. We change the colour, and we, like we're saying, Kieran, the first week or the second week with Andrew FPL Nightmare, we actually changed the colours, and we went, do you know what? We quite fancy a Tottenham win against City, and it did. So yeah, it does have some value. So do check that out. But yeah, go on, Kieran. So are you just going to go into your team then? Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, rather than go into it, it'll be interesting. Just, I guess one thing we'd ask is looking at your team, Shane, and I'll read it out to anyone watching. He has Sells in goal, Porro, De Kuyper, Tosin, Esteve, and Juve as the 5 defenders. Palmer, Gakpo, Wirtz, Bruno, and Pepe Mate Sarr as the 5 mids. Haaland, Watkins, and Mark Grui the strikers, and Dubravka as a reserve keeper. Out of all of those, how many right now do you think will be in your wildcard team?
Ooh, well, Haaland's a must, obviously. I think I'll probably go for the upside in Portal against West Ham. So 2, like you say, in Cells is probably a good shout to have. So that's 3. I will have a Liverpool midfielder. I don't know which one. Probably Gakpo. So that's 4.
Change Cells to Raya. Change Cells to Raya.
Oh, sorry. I thought Raya was there. Sorry. Yeah. So actually, it's 3. Probably 3. I don't like the Watkins against Everton. The Sarr was just kind of an infill. I know he's going to be a 10 or whatever, but Fernandes, no, again, plays too deep. I think United is still a mess. De Kuiper, we spoke before. I think he's away. Tosin, he's done all right, actually, isn't he? He's not done too bad. And the rest on the bench, nah. And it was always the plan to, because I had a free hit last week, and it was always the plan to wildcard, and I'm going to continue with that. And I know there's a lot up in the air, but for me, I can set my stall out from maybe game week 4 to 12 or roughly. Although I am still, like saying, Kieran, I'm still going to attack the early fixtures. I'm going to look for the next 2 or 3 fixtures. You know, people are planning for long term here, like 6 fixtures. The game this year, I don't think that is. I think the game this year is more attack hard for 2 or 3, and that's what I'm going to do. And there's a few names that again, I just made a wild card. We don't have it on here, but I think I'm going to go for the Triple Palace just for a little bit of fun. I've got Virgil van Dijk in there. I've got Porro. I've got Rodgers, Gakpo, Ekitike against Burnley, and Haaland. And I do like the Richarlison pick. But enough of my team, mate, because it will come out on Friday. But let's talk about your teammate. What have you gone with?
Mine's also in pretty dire straits, to be honest. But I just don't want to.
You spoke about the value you missed, and I agree with you. Like, I feel aggrieved because I've not caught.
It's less value. That. It's also certain things, right? So like. Munoz and Lacroix, I'm already owning, right? So I'm in a really strong position there. Haaland, I'm keeping. Nuri, I kind of like now that he's fit for the next few fixtures, just for some attacking upside. I don't like Milenkovic. I don't like De Kuiper. I don't like Cunha. And I don't like any of my bench players, right?
That sounds like a wild card. That sounds like a wild card.
But it doesn't, right? As in, like, I've got a transfer I can use. Now, my situation I'm considering is, look, I don't care about...
Just one transfer.
Yeah, because I used one to bring Cunha in, then I free-hitted, and Cunha got injured, and I've come back. And my plan was initially, if you remember, it was a one-week pump where I was going to do that and then bring Wirtz back in for this week. Yeah, I might bring Gakpo in. So the option is maybe Cunha to Gakpo or Cunha to Wirtz. I still like Wirtz. Or... the longer-term play is Milenkovic to Van Dijk. Or, it's not out of the question for me to do a double move, right? But the problem is, Fulkrug, Gui, and Jorginho are bigger problems. So, they're problems, but they're not. I think Saka will get minutes. So I'm probably going to start Saka here. I think Jorginho will get minutes, and if Saka then doesn't, then he comes in. And I think Semenyo's fine. For me, it's just, I know when I want to use it, and I'd rather just use a couple of transfers here and now, then use my wild card later on, and then roll transfers, do a mini wild card before we get the AFCON transfers, etc.
Yeah.
So, look, I just think there's players in this team that will do well. Like, I like Nuri for this week. I like Munoz for this week. I like Lacroix for this week. I don't hate De Kuiper for this week. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It's Milenkovic that I don't like. It's Cunha that I don't like. So there's only 2 players that I'm starting that I don't like. But I could start Jorginho, or I could bring in a Liverpool player for one of the 2. So again, it's only 2 players that I really don't like.
Do you know
who's a risk?
Do you know my opinion on it? I think that's got wildcard written all over it.
I think you're wrong. Wildcard's when you've got 10 moves.
I think you've got... Yeah, okay, you don't have 10, but I think you've got close to 10.
Nah, like, Bruno's a lock in my team. Munoz is a lock in my team. Lacroix's a lock in my team.
Is Cunha going to play? Will he be fit?
Cunha? I don't know. But again, I'm saying long term, Munoz, Lacroix, Bruno Fernandes, Saka, Semenyo, Haaland are all in my team. That's 6 players. So I think, need to...
I think they double up on United. I know people they did it and they kind of paid off a little bit. Listen, a lot happened in the Burnley game. United just have this knack of just being insanely lucky. But I think the double up on United is I think it's far too much. I really do.
Oh, I didn't say that Cunha's a long-term pick there.
Oh, no, I'm just saying general. No, I'm just saying general. But
yeah, no, but it was perfect because I wasn't initially planning to free hit last week or last game week. So I had the double up for that Burnley game. The problem was that I then had Saka injured, Jorginho as an issue, Aït-Nouri was down as injured. If I hadn't free hit, but this is the point I'm going to make, right? If I hadn't free hit, the team I would have started last week, I missed out on Munoz and Lacroix's clean sheets and goals, right? That's 20 points there that I missed out on. My defence got 13 points, including the goalkeeper. So I missed out 20 points there. I missed out, I would have captained Bruce. Well, I still would have captained Cunha, right? And then you look at it, my free hit only gained 4 points over my bus team. So that's the point that I'm making, that I free hit because I was in a worse position than I am this week. My wildcard team, I don't think would outscore this by more than 10 points this week.
Yeah, and Coleman's made a good point. And actually probably reconsider my thing. I think maybe because you've got to move anyway. So 2 moves would fix it. And a -4 is not the end of the world.
And I'm not going to do a -4 either. And my wild card wouldn't be until game week 13, I think. So, yeah, for me, it's the case where I don't hate Jorginho coming on in a certain game. I also don't hate Fulkrug coming on against Spurs towards the end of the game.
Yeah. I mean, and again,
they're not ideal, but they're not worth even a -4 here. The only -4 is 2 Liverpool players, but I think Gakpo's a minute risk long term. So I think he's worth it for 1 week, but not long term.
It's difficult, like you're saying. It's difficult. Burnley will sit in and kind of trench in, but it's hard to see.
I think I'm bringing Van Dijk in. I think I'm bringing Van Dijk in because I think Milenkovic's 5.5 mil spend on someone I don't need there. And I would then be very comfortable playing Aït-Nouri, Van Dijk, Munoz and Lacroix every week.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I think it can go more. And it's only 1 game week, isn't it? Next week more. So, no, I think the general is not too bad.
I also want to see how teams do after the Champions League and after Europe, right? Because there's some teams that get into a trend where, and particularly, there's players that are coming back from international break, and then they're going to play 3 times in a week, right? So, for me, it's just like you said. There are a lot of players I would change, but I thought I had the optimal team last week when I could pick 11 players, and it got 4 points more than my existing team that was littered with 3 players that were red flagged. So. Yeah. Sometimes the game forces you to play certain players, and you probably should have. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of leave my team like that. Shane, do you have anything else to say?
No, listen. Just it's good to be back from international break. It's good to be back from holiday as well, and it's good to get back into the FPL mindset. The break that we discussed, Kieran, it's good to have a little bit of break, refresh the mind. I feel invigorated to go again. The wild card. The lead to the top is now coming in, and I'm quite confident. This season than others. I've been very, very confident and very strong-willed with my decisions. And wildcard, I think it'll be very different. I'm very, very confident. So it's just good to see everyone again. Thanks for coming along in the chat.
I guess we will quickly, just because I know we had the question from Brandon here. We'll just skip through it, where he had entire list of his team and then saying, which look, team's fine, but it was more the case of you saying free hit in game week 5. Would you sell Cunha or Saka for Xavi or Roll? You don't know how many minutes Xavi's going to be playing, to be honest with you, is the only thing I'd say. If you need someone who starts, let's look at that. You're playing Munoz, you're playing Munoz this week. Wait, your defense is Aït-Nouri, Dorgo, Ronaldo, Goodmanson. All right, so you're playing Munoz, Aït-Nouri, and you have to play one of the others. Semenyo, Kundas, Reinders, you play all 3. Pedro, Haaland, Gokeres, you play all 3. Mm-hmm. So it's bringing in someone guaranteed to play for Cunha or Saka. I don't think I'd guarantee. I don't think Xavi's guaranteed to play with them playing in Europe as well.
No,
that would be the only thing I'd say. I think there's better players you can pick. And I think there's better recommendations from other FPL podcasts that will be more up to date with it, to be honest with you, in terms of a 1 week punt. So for me personally, it would be a no to Xavi Simons and a roll. What about you?
Yeah. What I would say is, like you said,
I'd risk it. I'd
no,
start
I
a
agree.
Goodmanson
I
against
agree.
Leeds, right? Against Fulham.
I think it's one of the most important. Like I'm saying, I have these maybe 3 or 4 elements. I have my original decisions, and then I have 3 or 4 of these elements. A big one is the team lineups that Fantasy Football Scout do for obviously updated, people injured, all that kind of stuff. So what I would say to them is do that. Come along on Friday morning where we do the FDR decoder, so that will help you as well, and then go into the team matchups or team lineups and go from there really. But yeah, I don't think it's worth it in the short term. What's the big Colmeister saying there? After watching Milinkovic against England, I would want him on my team. Yeah, I didn't watch it. Did you watch it, Kieran? Apparently, he was a little bit exposed.
I did. The only thing I've just realised though is even though I want to take Milinkovic out because of his price and the fact that I don't think he gets DEFCON or anywhere near it now, there is a problem. He is playing Burnley and Sunderland after this week.
Yeah, I've seen that. So you could bet if you've got him, I'd bench him and then have him.
Well, no, I'd have to play him this week. And it then means,
but like you say, in the big fixtures, in the big fixtures, you never. I know it's Arsenal, it's a tough one, but yeah,
that could be the goal against us, right? His header from Ange set piece. Anyway, look, that's all we've got time for today because both of us are absolutely shattered. Shane has just got back from his trip and he spent time with the family after ignoring them for weeks and clearly meeting Jackie whilst he was away.
That's it. No. Like you're saying, that's kind of good segue. Again, everyone, thanks for coming, especially all the regulars. Hopefully, we'll get more regulars. But to the Jackie, the Giddy, the Calm, everyone else that came along, thanks very much. Again, we're on par now. We're just over an hour. We're every single game week. It's going well, Kieran. And when you get picks like Jack Grealish, people want to keep coming back. I'm going to take that.
I'm playing the Oscar music.
Thank you very much. And we'll see you on Friday for the FDR decoder.